and welcome back to this little yoga channel. Today we're going to be doing something, hello and welcome back to this little yoga channel. Today we'll be doing something a little bit different. I just got back from our annual physical therapy conference in Denver and I learned a ton. I ended up taking a few courses on the women's health, yoga and pelvic pain, diastasis recti, just that whole topic that I didn't know I was interested in, but I ended up learning a ton, and today we'll be doing more of an educational physical therapy-ish class about yoga and pelvic pain. So just some terminology to get started. The main muscle we'll be working on is the pelvic floor muscles. And I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but just know that, you kind of have a diamond shape down here. So you have your pubic bone in the front, your tailbone in the back, and then your sit bones underneath your butt cheeks on either side. So that kind of creates a diamond shape. And the pelvic floor muscles are what sit in between that diamond, between your vagina and your rectum. They're so important for lots of things, holding in things like organs, urine, bowel. They're important for your overall core musculature, your stability. And these muscles can either get loosened or soft or weak after childbirth, or, if you've experienced trauma or injury, they can get really tightened up. So it's important to relax and lengthen these muscles appropriately and then strengthen them appropriately. I wanted to say that if you have any of these issues of incontinence, or if you're either a mom or if you're an athlete and you jump and you pee, these things might be common, but they're not normal. You don't need to feel ashamed in any way, but we want to get towards fixing those issues. So please go see a physical therapist about them. You can start with some of these exercises, but they will be the real expert. And I'm learning, but I'm not an expert yet, but I wanted to share what I have learned. So we'll start in a nice seated position with some relaxing breathing. We'll be going through Ujjayi breath, which is this nice oceanic sounding breath. And a good way to think about it is closing up or tightening your throat. And feeling the breath on the backside of the throat. It's also called the Darth Vader breath. You can imagine fogging up a mirror and then breathing that fog back in, doing it again, but this time with your mouth closed. Try not to care too much about exactly where the breath goes, but just taking a full breath through your belly, ribs, and chest. Getting our system to down-regulate and relax a little bit. So from here, I wanted to quickly go over how to activate your TA, your deepest core muscle. And then from there, we'll learn how to activate our pelvic floor muscles. And then we'll go through some yoga while we do it. So let's start in supine and laying down flat on your back for the TA activation. This is your corset muscle. This is the deepest, innermost muscle of your core. So we'll lay down. A common place to palpate this muscle is find your hip bones on either side and then move in and down just an inch or two on either side with a couple fingertips then think about pulling your belly in towards your spine. It actually has 3 different fibers or areas. You have your lower, your middle, and your upper transversus abdominis. So for the lower portion, you can think about like if you had a pair of underwear and you were trying to lower your lower belly away from the elastic band. So belly is pulling down and in. And we're doing this on the exhale with that oceanic Ujjayi breath. So on the inhale, you can release. On the exhale, pull your belly away from your underwear. For the middle fibers, you can think about pulling your navel, your belly button, down towards your spine, like it was really heavy and weighted down on the exhale. You should feel a slight tension, like a trampoline, where your fingers are lying. And then to do the upper fibers, pretend your belly button's just a little bit higher and there's a string attached to it. On the exhale, someone's pulling that string down towards your spine. Take 3 more breaths where you're focusing on relaxing on the inhale, and then on the exhale, pull in the lower, middle, and upper fibers, everything down in towards your spine. On your own time, come towards a seated position at the front of your mat. I'm going to face the side. We'll next work into activating the pelvic floor muscles, so the ones inside that diamond shape. The most common way that I've heard this described is pretend you have to hold in your urine or gas. So everything kind of cinches in. You probably will feel some co-contraction of that muscle we just worked at the same time, and that's okay. But pretend you have to stop the flow of urine, or another thing you can think about is kind of cinching everything up like you're putting on a really tight pair of jeans and trying to button those up, or the feeling that you get when you walk into a cold lake or ocean and whoop, everything just kind of goes up. So let's work on that for a few breaths. Again, just doing that on the exhale. You might think of your sit bones coming closer towards each other, or your pubic bone and your tailbone coming closer towards each other. You should feel the pelvic floor lifting and going up. One more breath practicing that. Another way I've heard is pretend you're picking up a blueberry with your vagina, or like a marble with your rectum. I know we're getting graphic here, but I hope some of these tips are helpful. And they're all body parts and they're all muscles, so there's no shame around them. So we're going to work into some down training and up training of these pelvic floor muscles. So for those who are tensed and overworked, it's important to lengthen and relax those muscles, and that will mostly be done on the inhale, and then we'll work on contracting everything and pulling in on the exhale. So come into a tabletop position, shoulders stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. Hands And we'll work into some cat-cow here. So on the cow pose, where you drop your belly and lift your chest, imagine that your tail or your hip bones, your sit bones are spreading further apart, and you're letting that pelvic floor kind of drop and relax. And then on cow pose, when you curl and crunch in and round your spine, you're gonna contract your pelvic floor muscles. So inhale, let everything open like a flower. Lift the chest. And then on an exhale, belly towards spine, contract your pelvic floor muscles, stop the flow of urine, whatever way you found that helps you. A couple more of those with your own breath. So this part is down training, letting those muscles relax. They don't need to be tight all the time. And then this part is up training. We do need to strengthen them. We do need to have continence and control. One more. Let's move into some rock backs. So we'll kind of come towards a child's pose. So we're going to down train on the inhale as we shift our hips back over our heels. And then exhale, pull everything in, suck everything in, come into a tabletop again. Inhale, rock back gently, release. Exhale, pick up that marble. Curl the spine forward. 3 more. Let the sit bones widen. Pubic bone to tailbone on cat pose. That was my shoulder. Don't be alarmed. On this last one, let's just drop back into child's pose and take a few rest breaths here. Let the pelvic floor become heavy. Imagine that trampoline between the diamond shape just dropping. A lot of people might see hip pain, low back pain. Any of this can be related to your pelvic floor as well, so keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to come into a standing position, Tadasana, at the top of your mat. So feel the feet root down into the mat, all 10 toes, the pads of the feet, the heels. Pelvis feels heavy. You can have a slight bend in your knees. And then the upper body should feel more light and lifted while the lower body feels more grounded. Roll the shoulders back a little bit, but not to the point where you're sticking your butt out. And then work on those contractions here, the pelvic floor muscles, whatever cue you've heard that helps you. And then relax. Exhale, contract. Inhale, relax. Shift the weight slightly into the toes or the balls of your feet, just shifting forward. So we can also bias the front or the back of the pelvic floor musculature. So let's shift forward and then work on a few contractions here with your own breath. Good. And then shift further back onto your heels. And we'll do the same thing here. So on the inhale, the muscles relax and drop heavy. The sit bones widen. On the exhale, contract everything in. All the while focusing on that ujjayi breath. Breath is such a powerful tool to either relax or to intensify. Good, and then we'll expand through the chest with our breath more. Inhale, cactus the arms out at a 90-degree angle, lift the chest. Fill your belly and your lung space with air, and then exhale, curl in. Inhale, expand. Exhale, you can round your spine, give yourself a hug if you want. One more. Inhale, cactus arms. Nice full breath. And exhale, relax. We're gonna come into chair pose. So you can take a step back if you want towards the middle of your mat. Knees are facing forwards. You're gonna shift the weight backwards into your heels as you drop the hips down. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Knees are stacked over ankles. Take a couple of settling breaths first. And then from here, we'll move breath with movement again. So on the exhale, I want you to stand up, but since we're exhaling, you're going to contract all your muscles. And then inhale, relax the pelvic floor. Lift the arms as you drop back down into chair pose. Exhale, contract, pick up that blueberry. Inhale, sit bones widen, pelvic floor drops. 3 more with your breath. Exhale, belly to spine, stand up tall. Inhale, back to chair pose. I think we have one more. Find your way back into a neutral chair position. Just relax everything here. Not everything, but and just like how you can bias the front and the back, you can also bias right and left. So let's put the weight into the right foot, and then we're going to do the same motion, but your left foot is either going to be straightened in front of you, or you can lift it up and we can work into some mini squats. So on the inhale, sit back into chair. On the exhale, contract the pelvic floor and stand up. Inhale, sit back and relax. Exhale, contract and tighten, stand. One more here. Good, we'll switch sides. Weight goes into the left foot. The right leg straightens out in front of you. Either your heel can rest on the mat or you can hover it off the ground. Inhale, shift the hips back into chair. Exhale, contract your pelvic floor and stand up. Navel to spine. Inhale, sit bones widen. And one more with your breath. Good. Take whatever shape you need here just for a moment. And then we'll come into tree pose to bias one side again. I'm going to face the mat, or face the camera, but so weight will go into your right leg. Your left foot can come onto inner ankle. You can still kickstand it if you need, or you can come onto the inner calf or the inner thigh here. Whatever whatever feels comfortable. Hands can rest at the side or at heart center. And then from here, we're going to do 10 quick flicks of your pelvic floor muscles. So we're not necessarily doing it with that slow ujjayi breath. You're just going to find 10 quick contractions. If you haven't started, go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, relax, and release that left foot down. We'll switch to the other side, so right foot can kickstand, or you can place it anywhere along the inner seam of the left leg, other than right at the knee joint. So get your balance first, and then we'll do 10 quick flicks starting now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Good. And then we'll step into a warrior one. So left foot will be facing the front, right foot steps back, toes are angled more or less at a 45 degree, and then pelvis, the hips face the front of the mat as the left knee bends. So from here, let's move with the breath. Let's inhale and find a little bit of a back bend if you're able. And then exhale, just drop the arms down. 2 more of those. Use those strong hip muscles to rotate that right hip forward. Good. Interlace your fingers and place them behind your back. We're going to do 10 quick flicks in warrior one. On your own time, go ahead and start. Good. Step to the top of your mat and we'll switch sides. So right foot forward, right knee bends, left toes angle out. And then shift that left hip forward so your pelvis is neutral. On an inhale, find a bit of a back bend. Nice full expanded breath. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, breathe into the side lungs, the side ribs. Exhale down. One more. Good. Interlace those fingers with the opposite grip behind your back. Expand through the collarbone. Nice stable core. And then we're going to do 10 flicks whenever you want to start. Go ahead. And release. Step to the top of your mat. We're now going to move into a little warrior two sequence. So keep the left foot planted where it is and then step the right foot back. The outside of the foot is parallel to the back edge. And then for warrior two, your hips are going to open to the right side. Arms extend out long. Your gaze can be in front of you. And just find a steady shape here. Draw the shoulder blades down and back. Relax your shoulders from your ears. Feel strong through that left quad. So from here, we're going to inhale as we bend down and relax. Feel the sit bones widening, the pelvic floor dropping. And then on an exhale, you're going to really contract your hamstrings and your adductor groin muscles as you contract your pelvic floor and straighten the left knee. So it's inhale, bend and relax. Exhale, contract and straighten. Arms can come down. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale, straighten. I think that was 4. We're going to do 10 total. Relax the pelvic floor. Contract the pelvic floor. Inhale and relax. Exhale, pick up that blueberry. 4 more with your breath. Last one, inhale, relax the pelvic floor, let it be heavy, and then exhale, tighten everything in. Good, step to the top of your mat, and then we'll switch sides. Right toes face forward, left outer edge of the foot is parallel to the short side of the mat. Hips open up to the left, arms extend, and gazes to the front. So just find a few breaths here first. Not worrying about contracting anything as we settle in. Now inhale as you bend deeper into the right leg. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Let the arms drop. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor. Exhale, contract the pelvic floor. Inhale, sit, bones widen. Exhale, pull them together. This is number 4. Inhale, that diamond shape drops heavy. Exhale, pull the groin and the hamstrings in. Inhale, relax the pelvic floor. Bend deeper into that right knee. Exhale, tighten everything in. I think we have 2 or 3 more. Just move with your own breath. Good, last one. From here, we're going to come into a goddess pose. So turn to face the long edge of your mat. Toes point outwards, heels are inwards, and the hips are really wide here. Rest your hands on your knees. Drop the hips down. So we're going to do a similar breath pattern and movement pattern. We're going to do goddess with a twist. So as you bend down, you're going to drop your left shoulder in on an inhale, and then on an exhale, you'll come back to the center and then tighten everything in. So on the inhale, drop the right shoulder down, and then exhale, pull everything up and in. Inhale, left shoulder drops, relax. Exhale, tighten your pelvic floor back to center. Inhale, right shoulder drops, pelvic floor drops. Exhale, navel draws into the spine. Let's do 2 more on each side with your breath. My dog is trying to come here. Did I lock you out? Do one more since I got distracted. He just went for a hike today, so he was very filthy. Okay, sorry about that. We're gonna finish up with 2 hip pelvic muscle strengthening exercises, clamshells, and a single leg bridge, and then we'll be done for the day. Wanted to keep this class a little shorter so that you guys can pause it if you want, or after class just practice on your own. But come to lay on your left side, and your head can rest on your hand like this, just propping up on that elbow. Knees are stacked on top of each other. You've probably seen a clamshell before. So let's just practice a few just so you get the motion down. If you have tight hips, I feel tight right now. These might be a little tough, but so that's the general motion we're going for. And on these, let's do 10. We're gonna exhale as we lift our knee and then inhale as we relax everything. So again, we're gonna up train, work those muscles on the exhale, and then let everything soften on the inhale. So exhale, lift and tighten. Inhale, release. Five more. Tighten on the exhale, lift your knee. Inhale, let the sit bones widen as you relax and drop. I think 2 more. I can't talk and keep track at the same time. Good, let's switch sides. You can just roll to the other side. I'm gonna face the camera here. Prop up onto that right elbow, support the head and the hand. Left knee stacks on top of right. The left hand can come in front for some support. So I'll just do 2 or 3, just getting the general motion here. And then on your exhale, lift and tighten. Inhale, relax. Exhale, draw the navel towards the spine. Inhale, let everything drop. Exhale, stop the flow of urine, pick up that blueberry, lift the knee, and then exhale. Let the sit bones widen. 2 more, I think. Good. Take your time coming out of that pose, and we're gonna move towards a single leg bridge. So, if you don't know what a bridge is, you're gonna lay onto your back, and your knees are pointing towards the ceiling, and your whole bottom of your foot is planted, your heels are planted. So if you would like, you can definitely do the double leg, both legs planted version. And instead of really focusing on doing a heart opening bridge, we're gonna do more of just lifting the sinus segments one at a time, lifting the hips. So don't worry so much about that. Okay, for the rest of us, let's shimmy that left foot in slightly, and then right leg can straighten out in front of you. Plant the hands for a little support, and then exhale, tighten everything and lift. Hold, inhale, relax. Exhale, contract. Inhale, relax. 3 more. You should feel your hips staying pretty level. Let's do 1 more. So don't let that right hip drop any more than the left. Don't let it sag. Good, relax. You might feel that glute talking, so just pull your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Stretch it out, nice deep breath. Good, and then right foot plants, just a smidge in towards the center compared to as if you were doing a double leg bridge. And then exhale, push through the heel, push through the glutes, contract everything as you lift the hips. Inhale, relax down. Exhale, lift, take a peek at your hips, make sure they're level. Inhale, relax. Drop the spine down slowly on the inhale. 2 more. Good. Pull the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. And we'll end with either a happy baby if you want. Bend your knees out to the side. Bottoms of the feet stamp the ceiling. Hands on the outside of the feet. And just stretch through the adductors, the inner groin. Or if that's uncomfortable, you can pull your feet in towards each other to touch big toes, and the heels will come in towards the glutes more. So whichever way is nicer for you. No more contracting and relaxing. Let's just ease on out of our practice. Let that diamond shape become bigger here. Two more breaths. Good. Take your time getting out of that pose. Take whatever feels good. And we'll meet at the top of our mat. You can roll to one side and push up. Or you can stay there longer if that felt really good. So as I said, I hope this shorter-ish class will give you a chance to work on anything else that you have found helpful in today's class. I know it was a little different. I hope it was interesting. This stuff is so important. These are muscles just like your quads, your biceps, and they're extremely important for a lot of things, for continence and pain in this whole area, in your hips and your low back. In core muscle strength. So again, don't be embarrassed if this is something you've struggled with, but just take the steps you need towards getting that a little bit healthier. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thank you so much for joining me during this class. Namaste.